Hello and welcome to Athena's Creations 2017. I'm Athena Turk, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since 2017. I believe March this year it's going to be 9 years, which means in 2027 I'll be able to walk the stage for 10 years as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! It's a fun hobby that I do on the side, and every Thursday I go live for my customers in Athena's Creations on Facebook. And I try to do the paper pumpkin alternatives at least once a month. I sometimes during the year I get busy, and 1 or 2 months I just don't get around to it because there's so many amazing new products that are shared monthly. There's new kits. There's 2 to 3 new kits every month. There's paper pumpkin every month, which is a wonderful subscription, and it comes right to your door with everything that you need in it. And I'm going to show you tonight what all is included. It's a great deal, especially if you find yourself not maybe having a lot of time to craft, or you want to craft on the go. This is the perfect idea. That and kits. There's a huge kit collection online. Lots of great online exclusives coming in March. I'm very excited about that. And a join special in February that is amazing. More on that in next week when I come to you live next week with some other new things. I have no idea what it'll be, but hopefully this weekend I'll have some more time to play like I did last weekend. And this week it's Valentines part 2 of 2. So last week I brought to you some the cards that are actually in this box, and then tonight I'm going to show you how to make this box to put those cards in, plus some alternative cards of the paper pumpkin for January, the coordinating die that we're using on this one, and then we're bringing in the it's the Endless Love suite of products. I understand it's temporarily currently not available to order, but you should be able to order it within the next week or so, or sooner. And you can always click on the little button when you scroll down to be notified. So as soon as they have more stock, they'll notify you directly from Stampin' Up! Also, let's see, what else? I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started because, like I said, I have a lot of fun things to share with you, some treats and things. And of course, some of these I think are repeats from last fall when I did some Halloween stuff. I shared some of those things with you, and then for Christmas. So all of these 3D projects you can use for other, like Easter and St. Patrick's Day, for summertime, all kinds of fun things. And of course, I share all the dimensions and some of the inspiration, and I tried to give you all kinds of tips and tricks and things like that. But I love 3D items. I love fun folds, and I'm going to turn one of these beautiful cards into a fun fold with just one extra score line. So it's super easy and it's fun. It's very enjoyable to craft to me. And so I do this just for fun. And if you are interested in purchasing anything at any time, of course, just reach out. I try to remember, but I kind of forget because, like I said, I do this for fun. But if you are interested in purchasing anything, I'll try to remember to put the link in the description below if you're interested. I know a lot of people that follow me are other demonstrators, and that's really cool. And I appreciate all of you that share and like my videos, YouTube, and all of that, because I do upload my lives from my Facebook page up to YouTube. So it helps me when I'm thinking about something that I can't find my template for, because I've got all this wonderful stuff back here that I sometimes just can't find what I'm looking for. And so I'll just go back to my old YouTube channel, and that's how I did it before. Because like I said, I do share all of the dimensions, the measurements and everything. And this is a lot of fun. So this is part 2 of 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and point the camera down so that you can kind of see all of the fun things that are going on my craft desk. It's always a crafty, fun mess. But like I said, it's always so much fun to craft. And this past weekend we had some crazy ice and stuff, so I definitely this weekend had a lot of time at home to craft, and I took full advantage of that. And as a result, I'm going to share with you some really fun Athena original designs. We're using the Endless Love suite of product that coordinates, and of course March, February, if I didn't mention it, February's paper pumpkin If I remember correctly, it's going to coordinate with the next suite of product, which I plan to start playing with, which is the Easter basket suite. So it's never too early to think about Easter, but that's the next one I'm going to play with. And then, of course, the February paper pumpkin, too. I love that they coordinate the kits a lot. Now, this particular one, January, has some really nice designs on here. And I believe I've used almost every stamp in all of the fun projects that we have going on for tonight. Now, last time I did I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did the December paper pumpkin kit alternatives, and I didn't make the cards. This time I made 1 card of each to share with you because it's really fun. It's really pretty. And the fun envelopes, but then of course I want to dive right into all the extra stuff here. So here's the fun envelopes that come in the kit. This particular one, absolutely adorable. You could totally cut these up if you wanted and use them with other cards. But every kit, let me just show you that real quickly. Every kit comes with an ink spot. It comes with the adhesives that you need, the card bases already scored, all the punch outs that you'll need to make the card, and a complete little stamp set and envelopes. And you get all this. In your first subscription, you get a clear block, and it's $25 a month. And of course, I love that they give us all of the coordinating colors. That really helps. And they always have an add-on that's good for 3 months. And we're going to use this actual cutout for a couple of the designs here. I see I need to fiddle with my machine real quick here. Let's see, I think that's it. Hold on. I have to try to remember to look and make sure that it's not tilted all the way over. Anyway, so that's what's all included, which is always fun. And the envelopes, I love that they all coordinate. Let me just show you really quickly the 3 cards. And then I'm going to share with you, like I said, the coordinating suite and things. And this right here is the Beautiful Bloom dies. You get all of those dies as the add-on. And we're also using it for that piece as well. And that one. Yay. This is the first card. So this is really kind of cool because these are all on one sheet and you just put adhesives. You put the dimensionals on the back. Then you put it down and then you peeled off everything. It was really simple and easy to make. You do your stamping first, and then you put all these fun cards on top. And look at this beautiful pink. Absolutely beautiful cards. These are great for any occasion, just for you. This one, you could actually turn it into a birthday card if you wanted. For a friend, thinking of you. That's the great thing about Paper Pumpkin. You don't have to put any sentiments on it if you don't want to, and you can turn it into anything that you want. It could even be a sympathy card if you really needed one. So right now they do have the refill. And so what would a refill entail? A refill would be everything that you see here, except it will not have the ink spot and it will not have the stamp set, but it will have everything else that you need. So you could actually bring in whatever stamp set that you have. And again, use it for any sentiment that you need in your stash. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Valentine. So just keep that in mind. They do have the refills available. Because like I said, the suite is currently just temporarily unavailable. Now this is a really neat card here, I have to say. I wasn't real sure when I first got it out how to put it together. And the extra piece, that's this piece here, I have no idea what to do with those. This one, it's a nice big piece for the front, and then it's like this little note card right here. So this is so cute. I love this idea. And Paper Pumpkin, sometimes they'll have fun folds too. I love that so much. So we're going to put all this stuff together. And then this one, I was inspired by the note card piece. And so then I came up with this one using the note cards that we'll probably do. One of the first ones we'll probably put together. And this heart shape fits exactly on there. So super fun, right? So that's one of the alternatives. Another alternative. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, plus the card there that I'm going to show you in a minute. And then all the 3D stuff. There's a lot of 3D here. This right here is a coordinating mini catalog, and it's got this. It's good through April. So anything that's in this catalog is good through April. And I'm specifically, I love this suite right here. And so I love all of these fun ideas, and it inspires me. And I looked it up, and I'm going to show you how to make this bag. Okay. And this bag is super easy to make. And I'm going to use my Stampin' trimmer. Love that. It's my favorite. Now this little bag is coming from this, and then the little leftover piece I designed myself, and I'm going to show you how to make that. And different candies and different things like that will fit into these little packets, and so I'm going to share all that with you as well. This one, when you cut it down, just like this instruction shows, it's big enough that you can put your fun little hostess cake of whatever you want to put in there. And you can see on the side, there's plenty of room to put other fun things, like a Nutter Butter. If it's in the single pack, you could put one of those in there. Of course, you can see that any of the candies that you have, any of those things would fit in this bag. Super cute, right? And then this is another one of those that I had been inspired from a swap from a fellow demonstrator who is an amazing lady, Melissa. And this was my swap last, I think it was February or March, and it was a spring swap. So I figured out all the dimensions and used some of the kit pieces to make this alternative. And as you can see, it'll fit your cute little hearts. It'll fit a little popsicle, lollipop, those little fun little lollipops. You could probably throw in a couple of chocolates, or you can do the little box like I had it. So lots of room. This is another easy one that we've done before, and this is my idea. And when I first shared with you the suite last week, I showed you the different colors and what it looks like, the two-tone, all the coordinating colors, the pinks, using the Hearts of Love 3D embossing folder. And what I did was, it was the perfect size. It's 3 3/4 by 5. And so this is 1 inch by 3 3/4. And so I basically, I got my little file, because when you do that, it kind of takes, it breaks down a little bit of the fibers on there, and then you can kind of see the white underneath the pretty color, right? Hopefully you can see that. It's hard to tell. And so what I did was I just cut them down, and it was the perfect little side for this piece. And that was my inspiration for that particular one. So let's go ahead and get started with the bag. I've shown you what all is in there. And I think there were 2 little pieces of chocolates, but we're going to try these heart chocolates to go in there, because I had some of those left over from Christmas. We're going to do the bag first, and then we'll do this 3D. And I've got the template. Probably ought to keep it real close by so I don't forget, because I do have quite a lot to share. It's so exciting. I love 3D stuff. And fun folds and all the things. So this one, of course, it's part of the suite. And let me just look real quick, because I don't want to tell you wrong. It's part of the suite, but if you wanted to just buy it by itself, you get 16 bags, and it's 4 by 6. So that's nice to know, by about, what, 2 inches maybe wide. And it's $11. So you get quite a lot in there. And it will hold a lot as well. So let me open that up. It's folded twice. And of course I got all this fun stuff fit inside there, okay? It's pretty deep. I had this fun little journal, little tiny journal fit in the bag. This will be great for teacher gifts, breath savers, or, something similar. Your fancy pen. Of course, your lollipops. You can add in some extra chocolates. And you still have plenty of room in here, right? And then you just fold it twice. And that's a nice size bag, right? It has hearts on there. So, I mean, you know, yes, it's for Valentine's, but you could be creative and do all kinds of different things with this one. And we're going to cut that one down. Like I said, I got all of the measurements right here, and I wrote it in my book so that if I referred to it later, I'll be able to look back. So the inside bottom piece is thick white cardstock, and it's going to be put on there for stability, and it is 1 1/4 by 3 7/8. And then I'm going to do this with you together because, like I said, if I don't, I'll forget. Make some room here. We're going to make that. And then we'll do a card alternative, and then we'll go back and do another 3D, and we'll just keep kind of rotating it out a little bit. All right, so I have all the little pieces here that we're going to use. And we're going to go ahead and do some cutting and scoring for this one. Got all these little pieces die cut out ahead of time because I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit longer tonight, and that's okay because, you know, I try to keep them short, but when I'm doing paper pumpkin and alternatives, I usually go a little bit longer. I try to keep it about an hour, but we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, part of the suite has this fun, loose Valentine assortments to make a shaker card. And I did that last week. I made a shaker. And I'm using some for the decoration for some of this stuff as well. All right, so here's the thick white for the bottom base. And then we have the add-on that I went ahead and die cut that one. We're going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day on that one. And let me read it. Cut 1/4 on the bottom and 3 1/2 off the top. So let's do the 3 1/2 off the top first. And I'm measuring based on not the fold part here, but starting with the cardstock, 3 1/2 off the top. So there's 3 1/2. And I love that the line goes all the way down because I can make sure that it's 3 1/2 right there. I'm like second guessing myself. Hold on just a sec. Yep, that's right. All right, 3 1/2. No going back. It's going through like 2. There we go. I did it back and forth because it's cutting 2 layers actually. All right, so now we have this little piece here. All right. And then this is going to be that tiny little piece. So I'm going to set that one just off to the side. All right, so now we've cut off that top portion, which was 3 1/2 right off of the top. Somebody's watching. I do hope I have the sound on because normally I have my sound off on my phone. Hopefully you can hear me. Wouldn't that be a tragedy? So if you're watching, can you please comment that you can hear me? Otherwise, I'm going to be paranoid and have to restart the video. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay. All right, so cut 3 1/2 off the top. So we're going to score 1 1/4 at the bottom. And then we're going to cut up to the flaps and glue in place to close it. All right. It shows we have one person watching. Can you please let me know you can hear me? All right. 1 1/4 from the bottom. Score it. All right. So there's 1, and then up to this first line is 1/4. So 1 1/4. It's right there. That's my cutting, so I don't want to do that when I'm bringing up my scoring blade. 1 1/4. And then I'm going to flip it to 1 1/4 and score it. I can't really see it very well right there. I sure hope I'm doing that right. Okay, so there's the bottom. Yep, I scored it. Yeah, okay. All right. Now let's go ahead. This seems really big, but that's the score line. And that is the score line. Kind of hard to see. And it would help for this one to, oh, I'm so sorry about that, to get the bone folder. Really get that line in there. Fold it the other way. And burnish again. Okay. So next, we're going to get our cutting scissors out. One second. When in doubt, go back and look at the original. Okay, so it's going to be flattened out. Oh, that's right. Okay. Cut a fourth on the bottom. So I didn't cut the fourth off the bottom. That's what I didn't do. Okay. I did the scoring correct. But a fourth needs to come off the bottom. And the fourth of an inch is going to be that very first line on our trimmer. And it's going to just cut that tiny piece off. Probably going to need to, there we go. All right, so that tiny little fourth of a piece comes off the bottom. And now it's like, oh, look, our bag is coming together. Okay. Now this part, you just want to cut up to that score line. Okay. On both sides, just up to the score line, which is 1 1/4. You can kind of see where this is headed, right? All right, so on this side, we're going to put our tear and tape. Because when I'm doing 3D projects, to me, the tear and tape works really nice. Just like that. And now we've got this right here that's going to fold in that we cut. Right? There's our tear and tape. And I see what I did. So I'm not going to take this adhesive off because I just need that first one. I'm glad I didn't take it off ahead of time. Sometimes I do that. So you just need it the closest to the top or the bottom, that flap there. You don't need both. Just a strip of tear and tape. And then you're just going to fold that over and then sit it up. And you want to use your bone folder or a block even. Make sure that adheres nice and firmly. And then we're going to get our little piece of, for stability, thick white that's going to fit at the bottom. And that piece is measured at 1 1/4 by 3 7/8. So the crease is going to be the back of the bag. Oh, and the one thing I forgot to do was to do the, boy, it's been a hot minute since I was crafting and I'm just like out of sync or something. So I'm going to bring in some of that beautiful real red and we're going to go ahead and just add some real pretty color to it. You could do some pinks. Ooh, let's do strawberry slush. See if that makes a difference. Strawberry slush is a beautiful new in color. Let's do that one. Not sure what it's going to look like, but let's just try it out. You know, I'm just, my hand's inside the bag just to give it a little stability. Just give it as much color as you want. And ideally, this should have been done first. I got ahead of myself. But, you know, there's still fixes to it, so no worries. And I didn't put any on the back. You can, of course. Just rub it on. All right, that's really, really pretty. Okay, so next we are going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day on this extra piece here. And the Happy Valentines, this one is coming from the suite of products that we've been talking about, Endless Love. And I'm going to stamp the Valentines in the middle first. This is the add-on. Just trying to estimate where the middle is. Valentines. Now, I missed a little bit, and I haven't used this tool in a hot minute, but it warrants use tonight. So let me grab it here real quickly. And that is this amazing tool called the blender pen. You can see there's no ink on it. It's got a, you know, silver gold from before. This is my real red. I'm going to tap, and it stamped lightly, so I'm just going to go over it. Just a tiny little bit. Now, I do have coming a very awesome new product called the Stampin' Positioner. And you just do this to clean it up. The Stampin' Positioner is a new tool that is coming. And I only need a little bit. And you can't even see it on the back, on the other side. So see how it'll just come right off. And the new Stamping Positioner tool, I can't wait to start playing with it. But that's where, if you have difficulty stamping, sometimes that's a great way. The Stamping Positioner tool, I can't wait to get it. Because then you can use it to stamp instead of blocks, especially if you don't have a lot of strength to push down and stuff. I think that's going to be a very amazing tool to have. So now we're going to stamp Happy. And Day, just right there. And I think that's all the stamping for this one for now. We'll come back to that one in just a minute. But yeah, I'm super excited about the new tool that's coming. I don't have it here just yet, but it is on its way. Is one of many great perks of being a demonstrator. We get to pre-order fabulous new product, usually a month or so ahead before it's released to the public. All right, so for me, it's easier just to bring my project or my my stamped image to the dimensional. And then we've got our cute little, oh yeah, that's going to be for that piece there. Then we've got our nice little heart that's part of the die cut set. This piece right here. It's really amazing. And I'm going to use my thin adhesive, I call them thin adhesive dots. I don't know what the they're actually called, but that's what I call them, thin adhesive dots. They come in your kits. They'll come in paper pumpkins, and I really love them. They're great for tiny little places. Of course, you could run the dye through, I forget what they're called, but there's adhesive sheets that you could use. But I like to utilize some of the things I already have. Next is going to be this amazing ribbon that is also part of the suite. It's bubble bath, and there's quite a lot on here. There's like 10 yards. And so now, had our 2 bunny ears, and we're going to cross 1 ear under, pull it through, and then we're just going to maneuver the ribbon like so until we get it the size that we want. That's super cute. Get my ribbon scissors and trim that. Grab my glue dots. I love glue dots for the ribbon. And once you have that on there, then you can just snip off and trim it. These are my ribbon only scissors. Better not have anything on there. This is one of those scissors like you don't grab for anything other than ribbon. My husband was going to use it the other day, and it was like, oh no, that is ribbon only. He thought I was nuts. All right, so like I said, this will be super cute to fit all kinds of different candies, all the goodies, right? Probably even a little tiny notebook, actually. Lots of ideas. Okay, so there's that part. And you can see my first bag is shorter than the second bag, but I had forgotten to trim off. And so that's how it's off just a tiny bit, because I scored this bag with you and then I trimmed it. So that's why it's still a little bit longer, which is fine. It works out just fine. And you can see the bottom. Beautiful. All right. So let's do the other part of the bag, and then we're going to do a card. I've got some fun ideas for the Easter stuff too. Excited for that one. And then this one, it just shows you that you can use your brayer and your folder and bring the ink directly to the embossing folder. And then you put your paper in and run it through, and it'll leave the beautiful color and the embossed image behind. Super fun. I'll have to get that tool and try that out sometime. But you get this entire suite for like 98 bucks. What a deal, right? All right, so now this piece right here, I was trying to think, okay. I was trying to remember how I did this. So I remember now what I did. I used tear and tape to seal it up, because remember we trimmed off the top, and I don't want to not use all the pieces. So I'm just going to put a strip on the inside. As close to where we cut it as possible. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to need a tiny strip for right in there, and another tiny strip for this side here. Now the reason for that is because on the first one I did not put a strip there, and so there's a little tiny gap. And so you want to just be sure to put a little tiny strip right there and right here. All right, so once you've got that nice and seared in there, we're going to go ahead and take off the little piece. And this one, we're going to take off the little piece, and there's an overlap. And I'm going to show you what to do with that overlap. Hopefully you can see that. It's kind of hard to see white on white like that. All right. So that little piece that's extra, I'm just folding it onto itself. Okay. So now that part is going to be stayed put. And it won't be that gaping little piece that my original one has. Now I'm going to just go ahead and pull up that bottom piece. And so tear and tape. Now we have a tiny little bag that we can use so we haven't wasted anything, right? Now this one, how many of these hearts do you think we can fit? Let's see, these are kind of thick. Those are kind of flat. 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking 2. 2 little hearts. And then you just fold it over once. And fold that little latch over. So 2 tiny little hearts will fit. Really cute. And then I'm using the ribbon from Christmas, which is so pretty. It's the Real Red. Let's see, shiny ribbon. And I'm going to just put that over. And we're going to tie a knot in the center. It's a little tricky because I'm dealing with it at the top, but I'm keeping the ribbon on the spool. And tie it. Hopefully you can't hear my dog. He's giving himself a bath over there, and it's kind of a weird sound over there. All right. So there's the knot, and I'm trying to keep the knot in the middle. And the part that's still on my spool, I'm going to make the tiny little rabbit ear. And then I'm going to bring this one through. And there's my little bow. I'm sure there's an easier way out there to do it, but that's the way I do it. Super cute, right? And then depending on where your bow lands, we'll put the little die cut piece, which when you use this die cut piece, you get 2 of those little arrows, which is really fun. And because it's super tiny, I'm going to use my flat adhesive dots again. And put those together. Alrighty. Take those off. There we go. All right, then we're going to have the arrows cross. If you're responding, I'm not able to see it. There's probably some setting on my phone I don't have on or something. I don't know. Oh, it's so cute, right? Love it. And then just for you is part of the stamp from January that we're going to use. And it's somewhere on my table here. One moment. All right, there's the little bitty hearts that we're going to need just for you. Oh, here we go. I put it on a big old block. All right. And then this, of course, is the Arch dies. Absolutely one of my favorite dies. I think it came out last springtime, probably this time a year ago. And they're just super awesome to use with lots of projects. Love it. We're going to use, I think it's Poppy Parade, but I'm also going to use Real Red. And all of these colors coordinate, so use what you got. And then we're just going to stamp just for you. Just barely fits on there, and that's fine. That'll work. Like I said, I wanted to use all of the words and the sentiments. It just barely fits. Just for you. Not exactly even, but that's okay. I'm not particular. And then we've got our fun little hearts. Stamp that one on the bottom. And this has got a treat inside, so it's a treat for someone special. Add a little adhesive right there. And we have our cute little bag, mini bag, if you will. Isn't that fun? Oh, I just love these ideas. Our mail people, and those are perfect. You can put them in your purse, have them with you, and leave it for the waiter or waitress. I know I did that last year. I had a little, I don't even remember what the fun thing was that I made, but I did that because my husband and I usually try to go somewhere for Valentine's if we can, weather permitting, because I think there was one year we had reservations and it was like ice. It was crazy. But anyway, that was a couple of years back. But, you know, I left that with the tip on the table, and, you know, it just, you never know, right? Brighten somebody's day. And this one, like I said, is really inspired from the original, which is a really fun fold. Happy Valentine's. Now, of course, if you're going to mail this, you don't want to stamp there because you would, you know, put your stamp. But in lieu of that, if it's something you're going to hand somebody, you know, a friend or coworker or neighbor or whoever it is on your fun list, love. So we're going to use some more stamps from the stamp set using the tiny note cards and envelopes. And the measurement, and again, I had, like I said, I had the red, and we're going to do that with, that's Poppy Parade, and this one's real red. And it's the two-tone color cardstock, and I love it. And it's 3.5 by 5. And as you can see, this heart that's die cut fits perfectly on the note card. I love that when that happens. Just love it. Okay. So we've got our envelope, again, pre-cut, all the stuff. And then this is already scored down the middle. And it's nice and thick. So the note cards and envelopes, the note card is nice and thick. So I guess technically you could cut from one of these for the inside of your bag if you didn't have thick cardstock. This was very nice and thick, which is always good when you're going to put an extra piece on there. I don't know if you can see the difference, Real Red and Poppy Parade. It's really fun, the differences in the, but how close in color that they are. Now, of course, I want to show a little bit of the white heart. And so I'm going to use my nail file just to enhance a little bit. Really easy. I don't even know what that technique is even called. But it's, oh, I'm going to need to trim it down. What did I say? 3.5 by 5? Yes, 3.5 by 5. So let's trim that one down. So it's already 5. I just need to trim it at 3.5. Tiny little piece right off. All right, so now 3.5 by 5, it's going to fit perfectly from top to bottom, side to side. I'm going to hold down one side and lift up this flap and add my adhesive. That's the easiest way for me to add my adhesive. Now you can use liquid glue and that would be perfectly fine. Just remember when using liquid glue, a little bit goes a long way. And if you have a silicone craft sheet, that would be ideal to use. Because if you get a little on the side, unless you have your cleaning right away, you're going to have sticky everywhere. So just FYI. All right, so we're going to set this one aside and we're going to do some stamping. We're going to stamp that cute little on the envelope piece. And we're going to use real red. And then we're going to stamp the Happy Valentines, which is part of the January paper pumpkin. And then we're going to add the day, which is part of the Sweet Of product. So this cute little stamp says love. Tap, tap, tap. And I want it to coordinate on the front. So I'm just going to put that on the bottom left on the front. And we're ready to stamp the hearts. And then we've got the cute little bundle of hearts, I guess you could say. And, ooh, I got some red on here. We're going to have to cover that up somehow. And I think if I remember right, I want to put that on there first and then stamp, which I know is risky, but it's going to kind of be at a slant. Let's see. Just want to make sure it's side to side. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to hold down the part of this one and add that adhesive. And then finish off the rest with adhesive. And somehow I have a smear over here, so I'm going to have to bring in some bling. I've got some little gold hearts. That's probably what I'll do. I'll put the gold hearts there. All right, so Happy Valentines. Although risky, I'm doing it. Yay, it works. And then we're going to bring in the word day. Make sure it's faced the correct way. That is so cute. I love the font on that too. And then we want those little hearts in the middle on the inside of our card. Super cute. All right. Now, hopefully you can't hear that. Oh, I almost forgot that little arrow piece. So now we've got this arrow piece, and it's one piece, but I'm going to cut it in half because I want to stretch it out. And then again, I'm going to use the flat adhesive just for that arrow piece. Put that one on first. It's okay when you make mistakes. I guess that's pretty much why I don't worry about it if I mess up or forget like I just did. Because it's fine. Everything's fixable, and I always like to share that with y'all. Because even a seasoned crafter like myself will goof sometimes, and, you know, it's fun. So it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so that looks like a nice sized arrow. Fun little trick, right? So I've got a couple of little smudges. So I think I need to put some cute little hearts there. And I'm going to need to grab some more. Thought they were just right here on my desk. So 1 second while I grab some more thin adhesives. I usually keep them in a little bag, some of the extras, because they come in the kits and the paper pumpkins and things. And you get quite a few. And I'm going to put a couple of hearts right in here. And this is just to show that you can cover up smudges, right? Although I put the 3 tiny hearts there, I'm going to put the 3 hearts there instead. And that's just a tip and trick, just in case, you know. There we go. It doesn't want to move. All right. And then my little gummy piece on my Take Your Pick tool is going to pick up those little hearts. And it's going to help cover up the fact that I had some smudges. So cute, cute hearts. Love it. And then the grouping of little hearts like that, you could use as your background. If you don't have the folder, you could just stamp a bunch of the hearts and then put this nice big heart. So there's always other options and stuff. So totally inspired by that card that came in the kit. Okay, so that's one of the alternatives. We have a lot to go, so let's just get right into this box, okay? These are the cards I made last week. 6, 8, I don't even remember. I'm going to show you how to make the box. And I have a template, so, because, you know, if I don't have a template, I will not remember. All right, now this is what it looks like. And this is that Moody Mauve. It was, it's a retired color now. I always use retired colors this way by using templates when I find something really cool and fun like this one. And design it, and it's a card box. And so if you wanted to put some DSP on the bottom of this box instead of the decoration that I did, that would be 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then if you wanted to say, instead of cards, which is another reason why I wanted to share this with you, if you wanted to do something other than cards, you could actually put some designer paper on the inside, and that would be 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. And then as you can see, the box is big enough that you could put your fun little candies in there, and there's plenty of room for tons of other things. And then you could just like silicone wrap this up with a bow on the outside. I mean, there's just so many fun ideas that you can, you know, utilize. You don't have to give cards. If a person may not be a crafter and you want to give them a treat, you can certainly do that. So lots of options, lots of fun. Love that ribbon. Now, last year when I made all those fun cards, I actually picked out a bunch of different people that I hadn't sent a card to in a long time, and I just sent them a surprise Valentine, or a girlfriend Galentine's, I guess you could say. So I'm probably gonna do the same this year because, you know, these are so fun to make, and it's even more fun probably to receive them, right? Now this card box, the dimensions, and I don't know if you can see that if you're able to do a screenshot, but the card box is 11 by 8 1/2. And then on the 11-inch side, it's scored at 1, 7, and 8. And then on the 8 1/2-inch side, which is this one, it's a full sheet of cardstock, scored at 1 and 2 on each side. So scored 1 and 2. Then you turn it and score it at 1 and 2. And that's on the 8 1/2-inch side. And this is our template. And here is all the scored lines already done. Let me just double check, because this piece right here, it's thin, and then this one over here is thick. So this is the correct view, whatever that word is, I forget. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut that from the first side here. This is that 1 inch. We're going to cut up to the second score line on this particular right bottom corner. Up to the second score line. And then we're just going to get rid of the one tiny piece on the bottom. Just like that, okay? And then on this side over here, this is the first score line, and this is the second score line. The second score line, we're going to cut up to that second score line there. And then we're going to turn it. Hopefully you're following, and hopefully I'm using the correct descriptive words. Sometimes that makes a lot of difference. And so we've only cut that piece right there. And then this piece, actually, let me go back. I'm sorry. Because words matter. Okay. We're going to cut this one, same thing, all the way up to the second score line. So we got that little flap there, okay? Now we're going to turn it. Okay, and here's the template. So you can, hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you're still following along. And I didn't lose you. That happens to me sometimes. We're going to cut off this tiny little piece, just like that. Okay, and then according to our template, we're going to cut off this tiny, there's 2 score lines. We're going to cut this first little edge off. Okay, hopefully you're still with me. Now before we move on, we should do the little notches. Is what they're called. I'm just going to notch it there and notch it there. And that's on the little flaps, okay? Same thing here. On the flap, we're going to notch it. Okay? Hopefully you're still with me. So there's our template. So now we're going to turn it again. And on the opposite side, that first score line, we're going to cut up to the first score line there. Excuse me, all the way to the second score line. I had to double check my measurements. All the way up to the score line. So we have that little piece there. And then this bottom piece right here is going to be cut off completely. And this little piece is going to be cut off. Up to that first score line. And then we're going to notch it on that flap. Just like that. Hopefully you're still with me. All right. Now we're going to come down to the far left side. And then we've got one section here on the very end that we're going to cut up to the second score line. And then this tiny piece, this little square is going to be cut off. And then we're going to notch the little tab. Okay? That should be it. And we'll match it up here in just a second. Let me move all these little pieces off to the side. There we go. Let's match it up, and it should match perfectly. Yes, yay. Okay. All right. So, as you can see, we're going to use some tear and tape. So the first set of tear and tape that we're going to put on are going to be the little notches. Okay. And I'm just going to put 2 little strips on each little tab. They're kind of small, but it's fine. All right, there we go. All right. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to put it at the top or toward the edge there. Just like the sample. And then we're going to do 2 strips. I always like to double check before I put it on there. And it's going to be right where just above that score line. You just want to push down and make sure that adhesive is on there nice and firmly. Let me double check my, yep. So up real close to that score line. Then the outer edge there. All right, so now that we've got all of that We're going to put our template off to the side, and we're going to go ahead, get our bone folder, and we're going to burnish all the score lines. This is where if there was a tech-savvy friend out there who's watching and you know how to fast forward this part after you've uploaded to YouTube from saving to from a Facebook Live, you save it to your phone or download it to your phone, and then you what? Once it's on your phone, at that point, how do I like fast forward this part? Anybody out there that's tech savvy that could help a gal out? I'm sure if I Googled, I could probably figure it out, but this would be the part I would like fast forward a little bit, because all I do is gab, which I'm sure is fine, but yeah, you know. Now I'm second guessing myself. Okay. All right. So these two tabs, this 1-inch piece, the tabs are going to come in and attach. That's going to be the first step. And then we're going to do each side one at a time, right? So once that's glued to the side, then this one's going to glue down like that, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do each one set of one side first. And that's the beauty of tear and tape. Again, you could use liquid glue that, you know, sometimes that's a little bit easier. I love tear and tape though. You just want to line that up and then pinch it and you're good to go. Liquid glue, you would need to give it a few seconds to let that glue adhere the piece together. And then this one, line it up and then just hold it. And then this one, we're going to do one side at a time. So you can kind of get an idea of how this is coming together, right? All right, and this one is going to fold all the way in down, just like that. And this one, super easy, right? And fold it down and in. It is coming together. Then we're going to do those two middle pieces again to the inside. Actually, I should have done this one first. Now I realize what I just did. But this will be toward the bottom, so you won't be able to see it. So it shouldn't be a problem. But ideally, you would do the little tabs first. So I guess do as I say, not as I do. Where have I heard that before? All right. You get it, fold it, pinch it, pinch it. Again, this will be the bottom. Ideally, that would be underneath the side tab. The last thing is to just undo the tabs there and voila. So let's do that one. Again, we're going to just do the one side at a time. And I like to use my bone folder to apply pressure. So it gets a nice, good seal. All right. And again, just want to apply pressure. And there's our box. See how easy this came together? I do go a little slow just because the faster somebody talks, sometimes it's really hard to understand. So here's our pieces. And so you can always fast forward, rewind. all the things, right? Okay. That's the nice thing about YouTube, I think. All right, so we're going to stamp sending you love. So here is the word love. And sending you should be here somewhere. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since I made this one. Sending you. Okay. I think what we want to do is the word love. We want to make sure we ink that one up really well. And this is Bubble Bath cardstock. And I actually got out my perennial postage dies and die cut this piece out. So the perennial postage goes very well. You just hold it down, let the ink soak in. Ooh, I smudged it. I probably pushed down too much. That's okay. Just be aware of that. All right. So next is going to be, I'm going to use Secret C for the sending you. Whoa. And I have fibers in my carpet and it fell on my carpet. So I'm going to clean my stamp just to make sure there's no fibers. That would look a little strange. All right, this Simply Stampin' Chamois or whatever we call it. To me, that is the best to clean your stamps because it's going to take everything off, right? If you use baby wipes, and I know a lot of people like to do that, which is fine for your fingers, but it has fibers that could stick around, and if the fiber is across the letter, then it's not going to be a clear stamped image. So just a tip for those of you that like the baby wipes, just keep that in mind, which is why I love the Simply Chamois. I believe that's what we call it. Sending you love. And that is from the Endless Love stamp set. Sending you love. Okay. So this one, I'm going to just put regular adhesive. You could certainly use dimensionals. Just find that sweet spot in the middle there. And then again, I'm going to use my flat adhesive for the arrows. It's going to look really cute. Couple on that one because it's a big arrow. This is another part of the video I would fast forward. Oh well. You can always fast forward, I suppose. And then this one, I'm just going to put him on there just like that. Real easy, no specific measuring. Oops, he's trying to stick to the countertop. Okay. All right. And I love the white. It's almost like a little contrast. I don't know if you can hear my puppy. He's snoring. Bless his heart. He's such a sweet pup. And then I'm going to use my flat adhesive because I want to add some fun little hearts and whatnot on here. And I think I even had gotten some bling out somewhere. Here we go. I'm curious what you're going to put in this box. What all would you put in there? Maybe a small notebook and a pen. That would be fun. Oops, the adhesive came off. But yeah, that would be fun. You know, Walmart has those cute little Valentine things that you can, little treats and fun things like that that you could probably use. Oh, I think we're going to do the pink heart. Now, these little bits and pieces that I'm using here are the loose Valentine's assortment. I just pinch some off to the side so I have plenty of little hearts and fun things to decorate. And that's how easy that box is. Super, super easy. So now let's do a fun fold. Because remember, we have lots more. We have this treat that I'm going to share how to make. And of course, our emery board and another fun treat. Because remember last week I had mentioned, oh, hey, I'm so glad you got to join us, Barbara. Yes, the box is super fun and easy. I'm curious what you'll put in it. So last week when I was live sharing some cards, I had folded the doily in half and said, ooh, I have an idea. Well, this is the idea I'm going to share with you tonight. So we've got those. And we have this one. So we have lots left over yet to do, even though we've gone a little over our hour. That's okay. We've got 1, 2, and 3 more cards. So let's do the easy fun fold, and then we'll do another treat. I actually had another card that I was going to make, and I just never finished it. But this was kind of the beginning of it, a fun fold. I just never really finished it. I don't know. I was trying to concentrate, I guess, on the paper pumpkin, and it's always a lot of fun, too. Oh, a few seconds delay. You know what? It's probably my phone, too, really. No worries on that. All right, so for this piece, it's already scored in the middle, and I just went at 2 and an 8 and made another score line. And this is why. That way I could fold it and open it this direction. And then I added some Winka Stella. Just, I love, love, love how this turned out. So I'm excited to share this one with you. And it's going to actually fold this direction. Get my bone folder. I usually keep my phone on silent, so hopefully you can still hear me very well. I have a lot of ding, ding, dings throughout the day, and it's just too distracting, so I have to put my phone on silent. I belong to lots of different groups and things, and it's a lot of fun, but the notifications just keep popping up for just pretty much everything. And the only way to keep myself sane is to have all of that turned off. So sometimes I miss messages and stuff, but you know, All right, so I was trying to think. I'm pretty sure we did red on this one, but it looks pink. That's okay. We're going to do real red. This is Bubble Bath. It's so cute. Now, this is part of the stamp set from the Paper Pumpkin for January. We're just going to stamp that toward the top. And then we've got our little love circle heart. I'm going to put that one right there on the bottom. And that's the only little stamping we're going to do on this one. Everything else is the kit contents. So, so cute. All right, so then we've got this piece. Super cute. And it's just going to lay right on top. Find that sweet spot there. I'm going to hold it down and then lift it up and then apply my adhesive just to that left side. And then finalize the adhesive there. And then this, I always forget about this technique. You can get your bone folder and you can add some depth and dimension to your flower or your rose or your daffodil or your daisy or whatever fun flower that you have, right? I think I even saw somebody had cut out, I think, the middle part and then popped it up on a dimensional and gave it dimension that way, which is super awesome. But this is an easy technique to do. And I'm just going to put my dimensionals right down on the project itself. I think that's a little easier to do. And then which direction do I want this to be? Voila. And then, of course, grab that wink of Stella. And then just this inside flower piece. Gonna add the wink of Stella. Give it some shine and glitter. So pretty. Now this one, I did not put any sentiment. This could be a get well card. It could be a sympathy card. It could be a happy birthday card. It could be a Valentine's card. But some cards I purposefully leave blank because you just never know what kind of card you're going to need. And so that's one of my alternatives. And then we're going to do one more quick alternative card. And then, of course, by now there's tons of samples out there from this one. But I really liked how this little note card fit just perfectly. And so I decided to use those pieces. And then, again, I wanted to make sure I used all the stamps in this one. So You Brighten My Day, I thought, fit very nice there. So let me show you how easy this comes together. Here's our little note card that came in the kit. And then just while I'm thinking about it, you can string up a bunch of hearts too if you wanted. And it could be a banner. I mean, there's so much you can do with that whole bundle suite of products. And then after having played with the kit, there's only a few little pieces left over. Okay, so I basically used all of it. This one, I truly have no idea what to do with it. I guess, maybe that could be blue and it could be water. I don't know. It's truly, but that's all that's left from that one. So, this kit, I made a lot with this kit. I love it. All right, so these real easy pieces right here. First thing I want to do is stamp You Brighten My Day. Let's stamp that one first. And the ink spot that came in this one was Poppy Parade. So You Brighten My Day. Right down on the bottom. And again, this could be pretty much any kind of sentiment because it's flowers, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be Valentine's. I'm going to add some adhesive and put these beautiful little Post-its. I call them Post-its. And of course, if you have perennial postage dies, you can make, so you could stamp different kinds of flowers, different sizes, just like what was in this kit. So if you didn't get the kit, that's an idea that you could do. And it's so easy. It's so fun. Okay. Such a pretty color. So nice. And then I'm going to turn this one over. This is how it's going to go. So I'm going to turn it over. Put adhesive on this side. All the way. And then find that sweet spot and adhere it down. Isn't that adorable? I mean, I just love this. Super cute. You Brighten My Day. Again, it's blank. You can make it whatever kind of card that you need to make it. Let's go with the cute little doily next. This one's super easy. A lot of these ideas, it took a little bit for me to come up with them or whatever, or figure out what I wanted to do. But these are super easy and simple to make. This will hold a Ghirardelli chocolate. It will hold my sugar-free Yorks, which I like sugar-free Yorks, but thankfully I don't really crave them anymore. I mean, I do have a few on hand because, you know, sometimes you just want a little something. That's perfect size. This is going to be perfect for the Yorks. It's perfect for little hearts, Ghirardelli chocolates, and it's super easy. It's almost like a diaper fold, okay? So I went ahead and we're going to stamp Happy Valentines, which is part of the kit. And then this, of course, comes from these sweet doilies, lovely doilies. There's 24. There's the smaller size and the bigger size. You really only need one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in each side. And I guess I should tell you what I'm thinking when I fold it. This first set of hearts, I'm folding it in. Hopefully that makes sense. And then this one, I'm folding it in as well. Like so. And then I'm going to fold this one up. Now, depending on how close in you fold it, will depend on how big or small it is. So there's no right or wrong. And then this one is kind of delicate. There's lots of little holes, if you will. So I'm going to just use these little dots to adhere them together. And at the same time, I don't want to have a lot of glue because then whatever you put inside could possibly stick. You want to be able to have a little opening that you can still put something in there. Let me see. So I'm going to put a little adhesive right there. And I'm going to need some adhesive inside there. A little tiny piece. Right there. And right there. Hopefully that makes sense. Oops. All right. Now you have room for your cute little candy, whatever kind you decide. Happy Valentines. I'm going to clean it because I've got that beautiful real red on there. And again, the chamois is perfect to clean with. I'm going to use Secret C. Yes, perfect gift for the postal carrier. And this would be really nice too for if you go out to dinner or lunch on Valentine's or the day before. Leave that with the tip inside, a little money tip inside the candy. Hand it directly to the wait person. I mean, there's so many fun things you could do with this. Oop. That's my puppy. He let me know my husband's order just got delivered. Go tell him, Spot. Go tell him. Go tell him. I'm going to clean this one because I think I'm going to use it again. He's so funny. And then I pre-die cut the heart, which is the small one here. And that is that in color strawberry slush. And I'm just going to add some adhesive right in the middle there. Just like that. And I got our bow ready to go. Right there on the bottom. And I'm going to trim it. What is it, Spot? He's so funny. I guess I'm instigating. All right. Fun and easy, right? Absolutely fun. All right. Next, the easy to replicate, of course, the next 3D. And this one, we have a template. Y'all know me and my templates, right? Happy Valentine's Day. So say you don't know if you're the weight person, might be a lady. Well, you could have one of these and leave that with a tip. Your $10, $20 back there or whatever, right? That would be fun too. Of course, candy's universal and pretty much anybody likes candy, I think. But anyway, so this is what one of the fun things too that I came up with, and I've done this several times. Again, I did a couple of them at Christmas time and a year ago, 2024, probably. Lots of uses for this one. All right, this is a 6x6. So I cut down the paper from the 12x12. I cut it down to 6x6 so you can get 4 out of one sheet of 12x12 paper. And again, we're going to stamp the Happy Valentine's and then the day. And we're going to spruce this up. Super, super easy and fun. All right, so here's the template. Again, retired paper from many moons ago. And then your 6x6, you're going to score at 1.5, 3, and 4.5. And then you're basically going to burnish all the score lines, right? And then I want this one to be on the outside, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is the top right, I'm going to bring that point down to that first score line. And I'm going to adhere that little flap down. Just like that. Gets gummy right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is the top left. There's the score line. The second score line, I'm going to just bring it down. Just like that. Then the bottom left, I'm going to bring it up to the first score line. And then I'm going to grab my tearing tape. And per the template, up to that first score line on the bottom. Just like that. And one more strip there. And then this one, a strip, tiny strip, the bottom. And then the second strip, staying within that first score line. Okay, just like that. Now you know why I have a template, because I would forget how to put this one together. Even though I do this quite often. I don't know that I'll do one for Easter, but fun and easy. And the paper to this one's so awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our tear and tape off. Just like that. Then we're just going to fold once, fold twice, and the third time. And it might be a little snug, and that's okay. Just get that bone folder to help you ensure a nice seal. And then you turn it over, and this is your front. You put your cute little emery board right there. And then we're going to stamp our Happy Valentine's and Day. Somehow I got glue right there. Okay. Let's get our Happy Valentine's, which is part of the January stamp set. And then the word day. Oop, that's happy. Aha. Good thing I looked. Day. That's okay if it didn't quite. It would be fine too. All right. And then we're going to put the flat adhesive dots there. It's getting a little parched. All right. Wish I'd thought ahead of time I could have had these on here already, but that's okay. Again, if I have a tech-savvy friend who could help me out. How do I fast forward this one? I don't know. Okay. I think I tied it around. Yeah. I had to look because I couldn't remember. I still have 2 more projects and 1 more card to share with you, so let's see. All right, so we're just going to, what did I do exactly? Okay. So I tied it around. I didn't leave myself any notes. I just have to remember. And then we put it through that little notch at the top. Tied a knot. There's my little knot. And then while it's still on the spool, make that little rabbit ear. Then cross it and bring it through. And then snip it. Cute, right? Okay. Just want to trim it just a tiny little bit. And then I'm going to also put, I guess, sort of to cover up that there was a hole there, but I'm going to put a gold heart right there. And now we're going to put our arrows. And there's one arrow. This is the second arrow. Cute. Love these fun gifts. Okay. Are we ready for the next one? Let's do the last card alternative. Another Athena original. Using the flowers. Now I cut the card base and I don't know, I was thinking of some other card, I guess, but really it's fine just to keep this one by itself. So, oh, and there's the bling I had. So this is the part of the kit. Super cute bubble bath. Now this one I did put the little sticky pieces on here already. I just go through and take them off and it's fine. I did remember to do that. because that does help. And these are really good for on the go if you need adhesive on the go. Really easy. All right, let's see. Put that flat just like so. And then we're going to use our bone folder and do the same thing with the flower here. Just kind of give it a little puff to it, I guess. Make it a little puffy flower. Cute. Granted, when you put it in the mail, it's going to flatten a little bit, but this is just kind of a cute little technique to do. Okay. So we're going to put first, I'll put a little adhesive right there. And that's going to be the first flower. Little adhesive there for the next flower, right on top. And then adhesive there for this flower. And then this one, we are going to stamp "You Brighten My Day." Totally be a thinking of you kind of a card. Probably should have cleaned that stamp. It's getting kind of smudgy. And then I'll put this one on dimensionals. Thank you. I'm glad you like this one. All right, so then we're going to use these retired but still very cute embellishments to give it a little something here. Nice little bling. Let's see, I'll put one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to finish this one, we want to add our wink of Stella. Just to the middle. Like the pink lines around the flower. That's where I'm putting it. Voila. 2 more 3Ds. So let's make this one. This is a fold I just discovered. This little cute gift here, and this is inspired by Meg Lovin. So she was showing I think it was an Easter project, and I just was like so taken with it. I thought I have to make something cute with this paper pumpkin, and this will hold 3 Hershey nuggets. Super easy, super cute, love, love, love. Fun little gift is what I call it. Now here's my template. Let's see, 7 by 2 3/4, and it's scored at 3.5, 4, 5 3/4, and 5 7/8. And the designer paper is 2.5 by 2 and 2.5 by 1 inch. And then we're using from the paper pumpkin. I didn't need that sticky after all. And we're going to stamp Sending Love, which is part of the paper pumpkin stamp. And it should be right here. Here we go. Sending Love, and then our ink spot that came in the kit is Poppy Parade. Cut out early. I have this box left. Ooh, You'll have to watch it later, I suppose. But thank you so much for joining me, Barb. All right, there we go. Sending love right in the middle. Isn't that the cutest? Oh my goodness. So very cute. All right. So get all the score lines burnished. This is Flirty Flamingo. You can see that it's gonna go just like that. It is Blueberry Bushel, yes. You got it. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna just add a little adhesive, just like that. And I think I want to put him in there first, just to make sure, because he lines right up. 2 and 3, just like that. And then I'm going to add my little piece of designer paper. Cute. And this one. And then we're going to put our cute little arrow next. I'm going to use those little bitty flat adhesive dots again. Ooh, let me see here. Ooh, this is going on 2 hours. Goodness gracious. That's okay. I had a lot of fun things to share, so. And this arrow fits perfectly, right? I couldn't have imagined it better. And then we're going to use 1-dimensional smack in the middle there. We're going to pop this one up on that dimensional. Sending love. Isn't that the cutest ever? Oh, I just love this one. Okay, so we want to add a couple of hearts. And I'm going to use, again, the flat adhesive. It's the perfect adhesive in my opinion. Super cute. So basically, the little, I didn't mention this earlier, but the little hearts are coming from the die. And you get like 5 little hearts. So, and it's the perfect size, I think, for this whole project. Just a little something there. You don't need ribbon. Don't need a lot of embellishments. You're just using beautiful gold paper. Voila. Isn't that the cutest? Again, another fun little gift. It'll, you know, it's small enough you can carry it with you. I guess I need to go eat out for lunch and dinner. Maybe a couple of days before too, and then just send out some sweetness, right? All right, so our last project, and then I don't even know how many we have, but yeah, this is the last project. Here's our template, and I've made this one before. I made, I think, one at Christmas time. I think was the first time. I'm trying to remember if I had made this one before that. That might have been the first time. Yeah. This is 11 by 5 3/4. On the 11-inch side, you score at 1, 5, 6, and 10. On the 5 3/4 inch side, you score at 1/2 inch, 1 1/2, 4 1/2, and 5 1/4. And then you're going to put the tear and tape on the tabs only. And then the front, designer paper, or embossed, is 2.5 by 3/4. The side is 3 3/4 by 3/4. And then this one, if you wanted to put designer paper, it would be 3 3/4 by 2.5. But instead, I used the add-on die, and it fit perfectly on top. And we used the extra flour, and we're going to use this one. And guess what? The 1-inch punch, this old retired 1-inch. So any 1-inch that you have will punch that out perfectly. So fun, right? And then, of course, it will hold, and we're going to use the stamp just for you. It will hold our cute little conversation heart and our cute little heart popsicle. So again, another fun gift that you can leave for the postal person. Just so many ideas, right? So many different people that we can use these all for. So here it is. I did not completely cut it yet. I wanted to kind of go over it with you. Tips and tricks and all the things. So let me move this to the side. Because what I want to do, let's see. Ooh, I think I did mess this up once before, if I remember correctly. Hopefully I will not do that again this time. Again, this would be the part where I would fast forward. But you can see where I cut the template, and it's just not perfectly even, because when I cut by hand, it's just not perfectly even. So what I like to do is bring the trimmer in, but before I do, I just need to double, triple, quadruple check everything, right? All right, I'm just going to go ahead. Another reason why I have a template, by the way. I wonder why I cut the 2 edges off. Oh, because this goes like this. That's why I cut the edges off ahead of time. Now I remember what I did. Okay. So this is the piece where I'm going to cut it to the score line and then cut that piece off. Okay. That's why I cut the 2 edges. All right. And actually, I'm going to cut this up to that score line on each side here. And then I'm going to line it up and cut from the bottom up. I don't know if you can see it, up to that score line. Let me just double check it one more time. Make sure it's lined up. Yep. I'm going to bring it up to that score line. Just like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Same thing, I'm going to line that one up. And I'm only going to cut it up to this score line here. And it needs to be the second score line. There's my template. Yep. All right. Just like that. And there's that piece. Now this flap is perfectly cut, right? The rest we'll do by hand. I don't know that I shared that tip last time. Maybe I did. I just don't remember. But that was for Christmas when I did one of these before. Now, we're going to finish trimming this up. And basically this little piece right here, we're going to snip off on each side. those two pieces there. Now we're gonna just take a tiny smidgen off the side there. And this is the template that we're gonna cut up to that score line. All right. And we want to just snip the side on that one, put a notch in the flaps. The notches don't have to be perfect, by the way. Then we're going to turn it and do the same thing on this side, the opposite side. Cut up to that score line. And we're just going to snip off just like that. Cut up to the score line and notch it. Little notch there, little notch there. Pretty sure that is everything. Got all those little pieces off. Okay. All right, so our template. This is where I have to kind of think about before I start putting it together, because once you start putting it together, you want to stamp first, right? Just for you. Kind of a nice little surprise tucked in there. And again, this is just my idea, but you can totally put a bunch of candy hearts. It'll fit quite a lot, actually, it looks like. 6 candy hearts and probably popsicle or lollipop right on top. The Lindor is kind of big. I don't remember what I got those out for. Oh, the big bag. You can put those in that big bag. But yeah, you can see lots of other possibilities here. All right. Got our little lollipop in there. Let me think how I did this. How this is going to come together. This is going to be... Oh, I should probably just burnish the score lines. That would help too. At this point. Do that real quickly. So it's going to come this way. So that's where I'm going to stamp the Just For You using Secret C. So that flap, just for you. All right. And then we've got this nice little piece here that we're going to stamp in real red. And then we've got this piece that's been die cut ahead of time. And we're going to do the Happy Valentines and then those little bitty hearts. I'm going to stamp that. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Happy Valentines. Nice. And then our cute little hearts. Right like that. Oh, that's so adorable. And then set that over there. Love. Do that one again, just in case I messed it up. Okay. And then, like I said before, if you have a 1-inch punch, guess what? Voila. Just like that. Isn't that the cutest? Love it. Okay. All right. Next, now that we've got our stamping done, make sure I go with my template so I don't goof up. All right, so we're going to put our tear and tape on next. And we're going to put it on the corners. Just the 4 corners there. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put these 2 corners on. And it's overlapping, so there's a little trick here, little tip. Hey, Tracy, glad you could join us. You just put it back over onto itself. Fold it together and pinch it. It's blueberry bushel. Only because that's what the flower is in the paper pumpkin kit, and they said that was the coordinating color. But yes, any of those beautiful blues would definitely work. And then same thing, we're gonna take the tear and tape off of this one. Fold it in. Whoops. Oh. Line it up and then pinch it. There we go. And line that one up and pinch it as well. And there is our handy dandy little box. Just for you. Now we're going to decorate it with all these little pieces. And of course we're going to put our little lollipop in there. And our little conversational hearts, super cute. And then we've got our little pieces here that I pre-cut ahead of time. Save a little bit of time. We've been going for a couple hours now. I think I'm personally winding down, but I just love how this has come together. And then the little piece for the front. This is the embossed piece. There's that one. Flirty Flamingo. And then this one is the piece from the paper pumpkin kit. We're going to use our flat adhesive that usually comes with our kits and pumpkins. Paper pumpkins, that is. This is the part I really should have thought ahead of time to have ready to go, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Okay, so let's take those off. Dun, 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 dun. There was one video I did a couple of years back where I put together a bunch of Christmas cards. I think it was the first time they had those quick and easy punch outs and things and pre-cut cardstock and things, and I had Christmas music in the background, and oh my goodness, I guess it was infringing on some copyright or something. I don't even know. You could barely hear the Christmas music. And I couldn't even upload that one. And that was probably a 3-hour. That's crazy, right? That's such a pretty way to use up the pieces from this kit. This is that add-on die set. Part of the beautiful bloom dies. Thought that was a nice little touch. And then we've got our little love that we're going to put right here in the bottom corner. Got an extra piece or something else later. And then this one, Happy Valentines, we're just going to lay it right on the top. Just like that. And then we're going to put a pink right where that hole is. Pink little heart. And this is part of the fun shaker elements, the loose Valentine's assortment. My goodness, we've had a busy evening putting all of these cards together. Lots of fun cards. And all of the 3D. Let me get all the 3Ds out here. The fun box of cards that you can make. Another couple of alternative cards that we made. What else do we have over here? And then, of course, our little emery boards. Super fun. And then the little hearts to put together. And then our little bag of goodies that we made. And the other part to the other goodies. All of this fun. And this was indeed so much fun. I love the paper pumpkins. And I love all the fun alternatives that you can make. And how everything just coordinates so beautifully. Thank you so much for joining me this week for our part 2 of 2 Valentines 2026. We'll see you next week. I have no idea what I'm going to play with next, but my pre-order is supposed to be coming in, so I'm really excited to share some of that. Hopefully I'll have time this weekend to play and share that as well. So we'll see you next week. Thank you again for joining me. Happy stamping.